Hey, welcome back. Let's jump into a subject that I find really close to heart. Insecurities. Now listen, insecurities are a trip. A few of mine are that I'm scared to be vulnerable because I've been cheated on before. I don't think I'm pretty enough. I sometimes don't think I'm smart enough. And even though I try my hardest, I don't think that it's enough. That's a form of perfectionism that developed. In fact, all these things I developed while in my childhood. My sister was lighter skinned than me and received a lot more attention from my family. Colorism is a bitch, but it happens in our community as well as other communities. This made me feel some type of way because I figured if I wasn't light, bright, and in the way, I wasn't pretty. That's not the case. There are gorgeous women of all skin tones, all sizes, all shapes, and everything else in between that are beautiful. But that doesn't deteriorate the fact that a lot of the things that I have talked about, such as no matter how hard I work, I still don't feel good enough, is a sign of perfectionism. Something that I gained while I was younger, because if I wasn't perfect, if the kitchen wasn't clean, if the kids didn't have their homework done, or if anything outside the house wasn't done the way a certain person wanted to be done, I was the one who was reprimanded for it. Not the person who actually messed up, not the person who ruined the thing, not the person who didn't do their chore or any of that. Me. It happens. And that's a sign, a sign that has caused me to have that certain insecurity that is no matter how much I do, I am never enough. Actually, now that I talk about this, it makes me feel a lot better, and I wonder why my therapist hasn't actually brought it up. It's all right, I'll talk to her about it. Another insecurity, right? So we went over the physical aspect, we went over the perfectionist aspect, which then within itself is saying that I don't feel like I'm enough because I've given too much. Now, here's another insecurity I have. I'm afraid that people won't like me. What does that sound like to you? What'd you say? Oh my gosh. 2 points to Gryffindor. Yeah, that's the side of people pleasing. Yeah, it is. Something that I also developed while in childhood, where I had to walk on eggshells and make sure that certain people didn't get upset, because if they did get upset, you guessed it, 5 points for Slytherin. Somebody got in trouble for it. It's fine. It happens. I realize now that my issues are normal, right? Everyone says, I wish I was normal. I wish I grew up normal. Another insecurity, right? I wish I had 2 parents. I wish I had this, I had that. You'd be surprised at how people who have 2-parent households are still messed up in the mind. It happens. So what do you do with these insecurities? 1, therapy could help. 2, becoming more aware, right? I had to become aware that I don't feel beautiful. Why? Well, let's dig into that, shall we? I just told you why. In the past, my sister, who was lighter than me and skinnier than me, got more attention from my grandparents and my mother. Now, this isn't their fault. Historically speaking, in my community, which is the Black community, if you haven't noticed, if you are of lighter skin, you do get more attention. Now, this is slowly but surely becoming less of a problem, but nonetheless, it's still a problem. And those who are affected by it, right, tend to have issues. It is what it is. And that's not to say that somebody of my skin tone doesn't affect someone else who might be darker or lighter. There are people who are light skinned and dark skinned who feel like they can't get anything right or do anything because somebody who talked to them or somebody who didn't talk to them went for somebody else who may have been lighter or darker than them. And they may have internalized that and somehow personalized that to where now they feel like it's their fault that they didn't get the issue, that they didn't get the prize, that they didn't get the attention, they didn't get the validation. I guarantee you, if that person chose someone else over a physical attribute, let me just say this. God's rejection is your protection, right? So how do we deal with that? Like I said before, awareness. Become aware of the fact that maybe your insecurities are the reason why you feel some type of way. Secondly, you may or may not, depending on the intensity of these insecurities, need therapy. It's okay. I guarantee you, half the world is probably going to therapy or needs to go to therapy or wish they could afford therapy. You're not alone in the situation. Don't ever think that you are. Don't ever feel that you are, because I guarantee you, you are not. If you ever feel alone, go ahead and replay all these videos, and I guarantee you, you'll see just how messed up I am, and hopefully you'll feel a little bit better about yourself. Another thing that you can do is journal. Every time you feel triggered, every time you feel gaslighted, every time you feel whatever the term we're using nowadays, write it down. I personally like to rant. I love to talk. So what I'll do is a diary audio entry on my phone. Yep, that little voice memo thing is full of me ranting about how this person made me feel this way, or how dare they cut me off in traffic, or why would you cut me off only to rush to a red light? Now, don't you feel stupid? It happens. It's rare, but it happens. It happens, but it's rare. No, it's not. It's full of it. These are a few things that I do to make sure that I don't go off on somebody. Because at the end of the day, how I feel is no one else's responsibility. I am in control of my emotions. I am in control of my feelings. I am in control of me. I don't have to react every time someone acts a fool. I can simply respond by saying, that's not a part of my journey today. Or, oh, look at that. It's so shiny. Dip. How you react, how you respond is what's going to help unlearn those learned behaviors. It'll take some time, but just like going to the gym takes time, and just like getting a routine takes time, and just like studying and graduating and working and getting a promotion takes time, anything you do consistently becomes a habit. I believe in you. You got this. Don't let your insecurities ruin anything. You are beautiful, you are kind, and more importantly, you are enough. That's it.